words were spoken, but everything was said. The room was quiet, dim and slow, city lights in silver glow. You turned and met my restless stare, and something shifted in the air. No grand confession, no dramatic line, just your heartbeat close to mine. A silent vow in borrowed time, two fragile souls in perfect rhyme. We didn't know what fate would do, but in that moment I felt you. The night our eyes promised forever, we thought we'd leave each other never. No need for words and no need for sound, our hearts were loud enough for out. In that glance the world stood still, like time had bent to match our will. We believed love would remain untouched by distance, fear or pain. Your fingers brushed against my hand like sparks too soft to understand. We stood so close yet unaware how fragile hope can be to bear. We built a future and one will be like destiny was ours to book. But promises made in silent lies can fade with morning's honest light. We felt the truth, we felt it strong, but forever doesn't last that long. And night our eyes promised forever, we thought we'd leave each other never. We traced our dreams across the dark, two glowing souls, one single spark. But seasons change and hearts can sway, and life can pull two souls away. Still I replay that sacred view. The night forever lived in you. Maybe forever was just a flame, too bright for time, too wild to tame. Maybe we loved the way it felt, more than the future it could build. But I still see it crystal clear, that silent promise drawing near. Even if we couldn't stay, that night will never fade away. The night our eyes promised forever was beautiful, though brief as ever. A fleeting truth, a tender lie, love too pure to justify. Though we walk different roads today, and time has gently pulled away, there's one thing life can't sever: our eyes once promised forever. Were spoken, but our hearts believed. We smiled like nothing could fade. Before we knew trace tomorrow in my hand, like forever was already planned. We talked in dreams, we spoke in gold, believing every word we told. The nights were warm, the laughter free, no shadow where our hearts could see. We stood so sure, so unaware that time was thinning in the air. We held each other like it lasts, never thinking love moves fast. Before we knew we were temporary, we built a life so legendary. Every promise felt so real, every touch we thought we'd seal. We danced beneath the fearless sky, thought we'd say goodbye. We loved like nothing could undo. Before we knew, we were untrue to time. Your voice would soften when I'd fall. You swore you'd always take my call. We carved our names in future plans, like fate was resting in our hands. But seasons changed without a sound, and cracks appeared we hadn't found. We felt like storm began to move, and love had something left to prove. We didn't see the subtle signs of fragile love is strong. We held each other through the night, certain we were built to fight. And slowly distance drew into light between your heart and mine. We never meant to fall apart, we just didn't know the start was short. Maybe love was always real, just not designed. Before we knew we were temporary, our love was bright and visionary. We saw forever in our eyes, and our hidden truths in soft disguise. Though time revealed what we couldn't see, that you weren't meant to stay. We were borrowed time. So close, but never quite there. other side of words we never dared to try. Your fingers brushed against my skin, but never fully let me in. We traced the outline of a spark, lit a fire inside the dark. Yet something always held us back, a quiet space we couldn't crack. We felt the pull, we felt the flame, but never called it by its name. A love slightly out of reach, close enough for hearts to teach what forever might have been. If we were braver from within, we touched the dream but let it fade, afraid of risks we never made, so near to something we could keep. A love slightly out of reach. We lingered in between the lines of stolen glances, subtle signs. Your silence spoke in trembling air, like you were almost standing there. We built our world in almost truths, half confessions, guarded proof. Two souls aligned but incomplete, meeting halfway on unsure feet. We were lost, just unaware. Something deep before we let it slip from reach. Hello, slightly out of reach, still echoes every time we meet, in quiet rooms and crowded nights, and lingering looks and fading life. Though we never crossed that touches mine, and part of me will always keep a love slightly out of reach. So close, but never quite us. We stood so close, right at the edge of something real. You reached for me, through lingering looks and subtle stays. Your hand would hover near to mine, like crossing lines would shift the time. We spoke in pauses, half confessed, two fragile hearts inside our chest. Every second felt so new, like fate was waiting on our cue. We felt the pull, we felt the spark, but fear kept flickering in the dark. Where our hearts almost met is a place I won't forget, right between the truth and doubt, where love was trying to break out. We were inches from the flame, from saying what we never named, so close to something heaven sent, where our hearts almost met. The silence trembled in the air, heavy with the things we'd share. If courage found its way inside, if we had let our guards subside, your eyes would search for something more, but stopped just short of opening doors. We danced along the fragile line between yours and almost mine. We weren't wrong, we weren't too late, just standing still outside of fate. Where our hearts almost met is where my memory is set, in that suspended breath of time, before your world moved out of mine. We felt the rush, we felt the heat, but never let our pulses meet. Now all that's left is that lament, where our hearts almost met. Maybe love was always there, hiding in the silent stare. Maybe we were just afraid of what forever might have made. And now I walk a separate street, still haunted by that almost beat, the place where two souls nearly bent, to where our hearts almost met. Where our hearts almost met, still lingers like a silhouette, a tender ache, a soft regret of every word we never said. Though life has drawn a different line, and your tomorrow isn't mine, there's one sweet truth I can't forget. We were love, we're hearts almost met, so close to becoming. You'd never begun. It wasn't a fight, it was the quiet. We used to talk until sunrise. Now conversations barely try. Your voice once warm against my skin now echoes somewhere far within. No doors were slammed, no tears were thrown, just empty space between our phones. 1,000 words we didn't say slowly pulled our hearts away. We didn't notice when it changed, how comfort slowly rearranged. It was the distance that grew in silence, not anger, not defiance, just quieter nights and colder air, until love wasn't really there. We drifted inch by inch apart, no sudden break, just fragile hearts. And by the time we recognized, the space between us had multiplied. We sat beside each other still, but felt like strangers on a hill. Your hand would rest, but not hold tight. Your eyes would wander from the light, but laughter faded into calm. The calm dissolved without alarm. We let the silence take control. You slowly swallow something whole. No one left and no one scared, but something precious slipped away. It was the distance that grew in silence, a quiet, painless violence. No crashing waves, no stormy sky, just love too tired to even try. We never meant to lose the spark, it simply dimmed inside the dark. And when we finally realized, we were already unsynchronized. Maybe if we named the fear, spoke you what was disappearing here, maybe some could have repaired what silence quietly impaired. But we chose peace instead of truth, and let the quiet steal our youth. Now all that's left is hindsight's view of what we didn't fight to do. Distance that grew in silence, soft and slow like subtle violence. Not one big wound, but many small, until we felt nothing at all. No blame can be assigned. We lost each other in our minds. No single moment we can bring, just silence slowly changed our name. It wasn't a fight, it was the quiet that won. We were never wrong, just never at the same time. You fell for me when I pulled away. different day. We circled close but missed the beat. Two hearts skipping differently. You spoke of forever, I feared the pace. I searched for calm, you needed space. Every step we tried to take shifted just a second late. We tried to move in harmony. Love slipped out of symmetry. We were out of sync with you and me, like waves that never met the sea. Always close but never aligned. Two separate clocks, one love confined. I want it now, you want it then. We almost found our rhythm when the moment passed, the chance withdrew. We were out of sync, me and you. You held my hand when I let go. I stayed when you were ready to grow. We tried to slow, we tried to run. Our timing never chose us as one. Your silence came when I could speak. Your strength was there when I felt weak. Each time we thought we understood, life changed the meaning of we could. No lack of love, no lack of care, just mismatched moments in the air. We were out of sync with you and me, so close to what we hoped we'd be. Always reaching through the space, but never landing in the same place. I needed more when you needed less. We answered love with different yes, and by the time our hearts broke through, we were already out of sync, me and you. Maybe in another frame, our seconds would have felt the same. Maybe fate would shift its view and let our heartbeats follow through. But here we stand with gentle truth. We were right, just out of tune. Not broken, not untrue, just out of sync, me and you. We were out of sync with you and me, like stars misaligned in destiny. Our love was real, our hope was bright, but never shining at the same time. And though I know we did our best, some rhythms never find their rest. Still part of me will always choose the song we almost didn't lose. Not wrong, just never in the same moment. If you had called just 1 minute sooner, your quiet door, heart unsure like times before. Phone in hand, breath held tight, fighting one last silent fight. You said you needed space to think. I felt our edges start to shrink, but I was still willing to stay if you had only found the words to say. The clock was ticking soft and slow, while love was learning how to let go. You are 60 seconds too late, one heartbeat shy of changing fate. I had already walked away when you found the words to say. I waited longer than I should, hoping someday you would, but timing drew a fragile line and missed your moment next to mine. Called your voice unsure, said you knew what we were worth fighting for. But I had packed my fragile hope, folded it small inside my coat. It wasn't anger, wasn't pride, just something breaking deep inside. A second hand had made its choice, and silence drowned a trembling voice. So close to turning us around, but love can't live on no sound. You are 60 seconds too late, a door had closed, I sealed my fate. I'd beg the night to let you see what losing you was doing to me. But when you came, you burned too soft, too late to flame. And now we stand on different sides of one small minute that divides. Not a year, not a lifetime, just 1 minute too late. We weren't ready to end. Time just kept moving. We circled dates in hopeful ink, made plans faster than we could think. Every promise felt so near, like forever lived right here. But pages turned without consent, moments came and quickly went. We tried to pause what felt so right, but mornings always follow night. We thought love could hold its place, but time was setting its own pace. If only the calendar waited, if hours could have hesitated, we might have learned to stay before life pulled us away. If seasons slowed their steady hands and fate delayed its shifting plans, we'd still be standing where we started, not loving strong, yet broken hearted. needed proof, you take my hand. We were building at different speeds, while days were planting quiet seeds. Each month felt shorter than the last, a future slipping to the past. We weren't failing, we were late to realize love can't negotiate. We tried to stretch each fragile day, but time kept pulling us away. If only the calendar waited, if doubts could have been translated into courage strong enough to fight for more than almost love. If clocks could freeze and time the line and keep us safe inside one night, we'd never have to say goodbye. Watch our dreams untie. Maybe love was always true, just not a life for me and you. Maybe growth required space, and we mistook for loss of grace. But I still trace those numbered days like constellations in a haze, wondering where we might have stayed if time itself had just delayed. If only the calendar waited, if endings could have been debated, we'd rewrite what slipped away before the final page. But life moves on without a plea. Love can bear eternity, so part of me will always say we went wrong, just too far to lay. We didn't fall out of love, we just ran out of time. You said my name like it finally meant something. You used to hear but never see the quiet breaking inside of me. I asked for more than empty space, for steady love, for steady grace. You said we had all the time, like love could pause between the lines. But every night I fought alone, while you were sure we'd be fine on our own. I waited for your heart to wake, while mine was starting to break. When you finally understood what love in me truly took, I had already closed the door. I couldn't fight for us anymore. You saw the cracks, you felt the fear. You reached for me when I disappeared. But timing doesn't rewind truth. When you finally understood, you spoke the words I needed then, promised you'd try again. But They arrive like fading light at the edge of endless night. It wasn't pride that made me leave. It was learning not to grieve for someone standing half inside while I was drowning in the tide. I begged for change, I begged for proof, but love can't grow without the truth. When you finally understood that I was asking for something good, for effort, work, for being seen, not living somewhere in between. You held my hand too carefully, like I was what you used to need. But hearts don't stay where they once stood. When you finally understood. Many we both were afraid of giving more than what we gave. Many comfort made us blind to what was slowly left behind. I don't blame you for the delay. We both got lost along the way, but some realizations arrive as to love can survive. When you finally understood the weight of what we never could, the silence, doubt, the lonely nights, the fatal spark, the quiet fights. I had already learned to let go of dreams we hadn't met, and know your truth was finally good. It came too late when you finally understood. You saw me clearly after I was gone. We held it so close, but something slipped through hands. We built a world from whispered dreams, castles made of silent screams. Every laugh, every touch, every glance felt like it could last a lifetime's chance. Your hand in mine, almost a vow, almost forever, almost now. But the edges frayed where we couldn't see that love is fragile even when it's free. We were so close, so perfectly aligned, but fate had other plans in mind, nearly ours to keep, a treasure too fragile, too deep. We thought it would never fade, but moments pass and hearts misled. We almost stayed, we almost tried, almost reached the other side. And now I look back and silently weep for love nearly ours to keep. We lingered long in borrowed nights, tried to hold on with all our might. Every promise felt alive, yet somehow neither could survive. The words unspoken, the fears unshared, made love delicate, made hearts scared. And though we wished to hold it tight, it slipped like shadows from the light. We weren't wrong, we weren't to blame, just love that couldn't stake a claim. Yours to keep, a flame too bright, a hill too steep. We wanted more than time allowed, but life moved on and we bowed. We almost laughed, we almost wept, almost loved what we had kept. And now I treasure the bittersweet love nearly yours to keep. Maybe in another life we'd have been free of doubt and strife. Maybe hearts would have aligned and all our almost would have shined. But here we are with gentle breaths, memories etched time can't erase. Love that lived yet couldn't sleep, almost ours, but ours to keep. Nearly yours to keep. A treasure we couldn't keep. Still it lingers soft and deep, a ghost of what we almost reaped. Though life has pulled us far apart, you remain within my heart. A love I'll cherish, bittersweet. Nearly yours, yet incomplete. We held it close, but not close enough. We didn't fall together, we drifted apart slowly. Your love was bright, a steady flame, while mine flickered, never the same. I held on tight, afraid to slip. You loosened slowly from my grip. We laughed and touched, but hearts betrayed by silent cracks we never named. Each moment closer pulled away, two souls dissolving day by day. We tried to keep the rhythm right, but time turned day into quiet night. Fading at different speeds, like winter winds and autumn leaves. You moved ahead, I stayed behind. Two hearts misaligned. We reached for love, we reached for trust, but some things crumble into dust. And though we longed to find reprieve, we kept fading at different speeds. I whispered hope, you whispered doubt. We danced around what love was about. Your patience endless, mine unsure. Our story slowly losing cure. I held the past, you chased the light. Our timelines never felt so tight. And in the quiet broken words we never spoke. It wasn't wrong, it wasn't right, just hearts that couldn't hold the night. Fading at different speeds, two streams that never meet beneath. You went faster, I moved slow. Love we tried but couldn't grow. We almost touched, we almost stayed, but time had rules we never played. And though we yearned, we couldn't please. Our hearts fading at different speeds. Maybe in another place we'd have matched our pace. Maybe love would have remained, and none of us would feel this pain. But here we stand apart, apart, carrying pieces of one heart. A love that lived, a love that bleeds, fading at different speeds. At different speeds. Fading at different speeds. Fading at different speeds. We didn't fall together. We just slipped away differently. I waited, and then I went. You hesitated, unsure of me, while I was certain of what I need. Your words delayed, your touch withheld, our fragile love quietly swelled. I lingered long, I gave my time, I held your hand, I made you mine. But patience breaks and hearts demand a promise spoken, a steady hand. I watched the moments drift away, while your heart paused, too long to stay. I left while you were deciding, before your courage came arriving. I couldn't wait for fear to fade, or love to find the choice we made. I loved enough to let you be, even if it meant losing me. And when you finally understood, I had already left for good. You said you'd try, you said you'd stay, but words arrived a day too late. I packed my hope, I drew my line, and walked away before your time. It wasn't anger, it wasn't blame, just love that couldn't stay the same. I honored us by setting free a heart that couldn't wait endlessly. I held on long enough to see that waiting wasn't love for me. I left the chance renewed, but I left while you were deciding to. So I left while you were deciding. Love can't wait, my fears hiding. I walked ahead, I let it go before your heart could finally show. And though regrets may fill your view, I chose myself as I had to do. For some love waits, but some won't stand. I left how you were deciding, hands in hands. I waited, and then I went. We bloomed at different times. Your spring arrived when I was winter. I needed warmth, you were a splinter. Our hearts would reach, then pull away. Two souls misaligned day by day. I chased your sun, you chased my ray. We held on tight, but felt the strain. Moments bright would quickly fade, like leaves that fall before they've stayed. We tried to grow in borrowed light, but seasons rarely shade the night. Love in separate seasons, we gave the world 1,000 reasons to keep holding yet let go. A tender pain we couldn't show. I needed you in my springtime bloom. You were autumn in your quiet room. And though we longed, we couldn't meet. Love arrived in separate beats. We laughed beneath the summer sky, but missed the autumn when it passed by. I held your hand in winter's chill. You shine too bright to linger still. Our calendars are never aligned. Our hearts in time, but missed the sign. We loved with flow, we loved with care, but life had plans we couldn't share. We weren't wrong, we weren't cruel, just two hearts bending different rules. Love in separate seasons, two flames that never left their reasons. We reached for light, but faded slowly out of sight. We held on long, we held on true, but couldn't stand in the same hue. And I see with tender tears, loveless, but not in the same years. Maybe in a world apart from time, we bloomed together, perfectly aligned. restore. But here we are, and that's enough. We love though life was sometimes tough. Two hearts that tried, two hearts that grieve, two souls in love, but separately. Love blooms quietly where our hearts lie. We bloomed at different times. We didn't leave, we just drifted sideways. Your hand reached for mine, but not quite. We walked together in fading light. Our eyes would meet, then quickly turn. Two hearts trying, but still to learn. I spoke in whispers, you spoke in sighs. We both knew love could compromise, but some steps forward, some steps back made our path a fragile track. We weren't lost, just off the line, moving slowly out of time. Walking sideways from us, two hearts brushing but missing trust. We stayed close yet miles apart, holding fragments of one heart. We tried to sink, we tried to bend, but even love has limits, friend. And now I watch quietly, just you walking sideways from us. We shared a laugh, we shared a tear, but couldn't stay close enough, my dear. Each day a balance, fragile and thin, two souls almost touching within. The moments we could never claim faded slowly without a name. We love but sideways, undefined, trying to hold what slipped behind. No anger here, no sudden break, just gentle drifting for love's sake. Walking sideways from us, two hearts brushing but missing trust. We stay near yet worlds apart, holding pieces of the same heart. We almost held, we almost stayed, but steps misaligned. We strayed and now it's clear, quietly discussed, we're walking sideways from us. Maybe one day pass a line and we'll meet where hearts combine. But for now we move apart, carrying memories in our hearts. We try to love, we try to keep. Did some roads move too slow or steep? And though I ache for what's lost, we're walking sideways at a cost. We didn't leave, we just drifted sideways. We tried, but the clocks didn't match our hearts. You came alive when I was still. I needed calm, you chased the thrill. Our moments touched, then slipped away. Two hearts colliding in disarray. I spoke my truth, you hesitated. We lingered long, but never waited. Every step felt slightly wrong, a rhythm lost, a silent song. We reached for love, we reached for time, but seconds felt like shifting rhyme. Timing was never on our side. We ran together but couldn't collide. Close enough to feel the spark, but far enough to keep it dark. We almost laughed, we almost cried, almost lived, almost tried. And now I see with gentle pride, timing was never on our side. We whispered dreams in fleeting hours, held on to moments like fragile flowers. But clocks moved fast and hearts moved slow. We tried to bend but couldn't flow. I longed for you in quiet nights. You burned too bright, I dimmed my lights. We weren't wrong, we weren't untrue, just caught between what we couldn't do. Time moved fast, love moved slow, and even knew which way to go. Timing was never on our side. We reached for love but lost the tide. Hands that almost touched in vain, hearts that tried but felt the strain. We wanted more than days allowed, fought for love but timing bowed. And though we tried, we couldn't find. Timing was never on our side. Maybe in another frame, our hearts would have known no shame. Maybe seconds could have bent to let our love have its content. But life doesn't pause for two, and love alone can't make time true. So here we stand with gentle pride, knowing timing was never on our side. Timing was never on our It wasn't words, it was everything left unsaid. You stopped speeding, but not to me. Your eyes were near, but never free. I reached for warmth, you held the air. A quiet space built everywhere. No shouting, no anger, no fight, just hollow echoes in the night. The love we had, the love we knew, became the gap between me and you. Every pause, every quiet glance at a distance in our dance. The space your silence made, a canyon deep, a love delayed. We tried to fill it, tried to bend, but words are power, silence ends. I longed for sound, I longed for care, for presence, touch, a moment shared. But all that lingered in its place was the empty room your silence made. I whispered hope, you didn't hear. I held on tight, you disappeared. Each day a step through quiet walls, a love restrained, a heart that stalls. We could have bridged, we could have healed, but fear kept truths carefully sealed. And in the stillness I realized love can fade where silence lies. It wasn't anger, it wasn't pain, just absence slowly staking claim. The space your silence made, a distance that our hearts obeyed. We almost touched, we almost stayed. A quiet love will never stay. I waited long, I hoped you'd see that words could heal the space in me. But still I stand where shadows fade, surrounded by the space your silence made. The space your silence made, the quiet wound that never swayed. I reached for you, I tried to stay, but silence had already claimed its way. And though our love once burned bright, it faded softly in the night, forever marked. I can't evade the hollow space your silence made. It wasn't words, it was everything left unsaid. and you stayed. I drew the line, I closed the door. Your love remained, I asked for more. I walked alone through empty streets while your heart lingered, quietly beats. I needed space, I needed time. You held on through the shifting line. Every step I took away, you stayed behind, you chose to stay. I didn't know if love could bend, but you proved it didn't have to end. You held on after I let go, even when I couldn't show that I needed freedom just to breathe, that leaving was the love I'd leave. I turned my back, I walked away. You lingered still, you chose to stay. Your silent strength I couldn't know until you held on after I let go. Your patience spoke when words were few. You showed me love in what you do. I tried to run, I tried to hide, but you remained right by my side. The pain I carried, the doubts I made, couldn't shake the love that stayed. You held the line, you held the heart, even when I tore us apart. You were the line I couldn't see, the constant in my uncertainty. Maybe we were both afraid of staying close, of love astray. But now I see what strength can be when someone loves so silently. You didn't need me to return, you just let love itself burn. And in that fire, soft and slow, I saw the heart that wouldn't go. You held on after I let go, through quiet nights, through ebb and flow. A love so patient, pure and true, a love that waited just for you. And though I wandered lost and free, you held on strong, unconditionally. Forever marked, I now bestow my heart to you. After I let go, I stepped away, and you stayed. I loved you at a time that wasn't ours. Your eyes were open, your heart unsure. I gave my all, but still I blur the lines of what we could have been. A story lost in might have seen. I reached for you, you stepped away. I tried to stay, but couldn't sway. Our hearts aligned, but not our time. Right feelings caught in the wrong rhyme. We felt the spark, we felt the flame, but chapters change, and love can't tame. Right feelings, wrong chapter. A love too early, running after moments we wanted, never ours. Time kept closing its heavy doors. We laughed, we touched, we almost stayed, but fate decided the price we paid. And though my heart still remembers you, the timing wasn't right to pursue. I wrote you letters I never sent. I held back tears I never bent. I tried to wait, I tried to see if life would bring you back to me. But pages turned, the story moved, our lives and sequences unproved. And though we felt what hearts believed, the timing tore what we conceived. We couldn't hold, we couldn't fight. Our love was mourning lost in night. I feel us, wrong chapter. Love too early, running after. We almost touched, we almost knew, but life had different pages to pursue. We held the dream, but not the time. Two hearts misaligned, two silent rhymes. And though I wish it could have stayed, right feelings in the wrong chapter played. Maybe in another book, another time, another love, we'd have thrived, we have believed, and lived the love we almost achieved. But for now we close the page, let memories rest, let hearts engage with lessons learned and hearts unbound. The love we had, quietly profound. Right feelings, wrong chapter. A fragile love, a quiet capture. We almost laughed, we almost cried, but life owed lines we couldn't hide. And though my heart still turns to you right now, our story couldn't continue. It's wrong chapter, it seems. A love that lived inside our dreams. I left you at a time that wasn't ours. We didn't know how to say goodbye. eyes met mine, then looked away. 1,000 words we couldn't say. We lingered in a quiet room where love and fear silently bloomed. No script, no cue, no final line, just hesitating hearts out of time. I held your hand, you held my gaze, but neither knew the farewell phrase. We felt the end, but didn't speak. Our hearts too tender to weep. The farewell we never rehearsed, a silent ending, love dispersed. We walked apart without a scene, a memory caught where we had been. I wished for courage, wished for grace, to see the sorrow on your face. But life moved on, and time conversed through the farewell we never rehearsed. I traced the moments, every smile, every heartbeat, every mile. We almost laughed, we almost stayed, but words refused to find their way. The quiet room became our stage of love unspoken, trapped in cage. I tried to speak, I tried to show the depth of love I hoped you'd know. Our hearts were tender, hearts were true, but endings come without a cue. Farewell we never rehearsed, left us both quietly cursed. We almost touched, we almost tried, but time didn't wait, we couldn't hide. And now I carry what remains of love unspoken, soft refrains forever held in hearts immersed in the farewell we never rehearsed. Maybe in another life we'd say goodbye without strife. Maybe tears would fall, not fears, and love would linger through the years. But here we are, the stage is bare, empty echoes fill the air. I let you go, I let it be, a silent ending, just you and me. The farewell we never rehearsed, a quiet ending, bittersweet first. We almost spoke, we almost stayed, but love required a braver way. And though our hearts are worlds apart, I carry you within my heart, a story soft, a truth traversed. The farewell we never rehearsed. We didn't know how to say goodbye. Somehow the stars aligned for us. skies, a fleeting spark, a soft surprise. We touched the light, we held it close, but even stars can hurt the most. Your hand in mine felt infinite, moments like planets, delicate. Yet time moved on, the orbits changed. Our love survived, yet rearranged. We tried to hold what fate bestowed, but some paths bend, some hearts erode. In a universe that chose us, we shined, we burned, we trusted. But galaxies drift and comets fall, even stars can lose it all. We laughed, we cried, we almost stayed in cosmic light, our hearts displayed. And though the distance pulled us through, I'll always feel a universe with you. Built a world of whispered dreams, a constellation no one sees. I traced your name along the sky and wondered why some loves must die. The space between became a tide, but still you stayed within my mind. And though the cosmos stretched and swayed, your light remained to never fade. Some love is written in the stars, even if we wander far. In a universe that shows us, we laughed, we trusted. But orbits turn and hearts divide, even in space love can collide. I held your arm in endless night, a fragile glow, a tender light. And though the universe moves on, I carry you, though you are gone. Maybe one day we'll reunite past the dark, beyond the night, where time and space bend for the heart, and nothing pulled our worlds apart. But I'm still